Hey, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate you. So, in today's topic, we're going to be talking about external pain versus internal pain. Now, I'm not talking about the physical body, I'm talking about emotionally on how we process our pain from our childhood. That's not to say that we are talking about our childhood pain, but let's just say you had parents that didn't treat you the best. So what do? You use those behaviors that you learned from your parents or that form of love in order to use it whenever painful experiences or uncomfortable settings come into your life. Now, the most common of the lesser of two evils is internal pain. And internal pain is just anything that you inflict upon yourself from the outside world, from anyone that you talk to, anything that may happen, and such like that. So let's say you didn't have the best upbringing in childhood, as we all have, but let's just say in this example, your parents never fully loved you, and you never had the confidence in order to build yourself up into a prosperous adult or a prosperous young person. So what do? You take those same behaviors that you learned from your parents and you inflict them onto yourself whenever you are outside in the real world. What does that look like? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're at work and you're doing a bad job. It's your first day to work and you're doing a bad job. All of a sudden, instead of you trying to get better and progressing and improving yourself, you take that you're bad at the job, that lesson and example, and you internalize it. You use that as fuel to pain yourself, to hurt yourself. So then you'll start probably having thoughts of, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be good enough, or I'm bad at all of these things. Look at me, I'm terrible, I'm worthless, I have no value. All of these thoughts that come up on and on. So that is internal pain. That is an example of internal pain. And basically, at the end of the day, it's just you being bad to yourself. And external pain is different. I would say it's the greater of two evils, in which I regard to the lesser of two evils. External pain is when you use that same experience. Let's say you weren't, didn't have the best childhood. Your parents taught you that love is conditional, or that you need to be bold, I would say mean, in the way that you express yourself, your vulnerability or your love. So, because that your parents were hypercritical of yourself, you then externalize that pain onto others. Let's say at the workplace, you are having trouble learning something, it's your first day and such. So, what do? Well, the first thing that you probably would do is criticize others or be defensive and get passive aggressive or aggressive to the people that are trying to help you with the job. And that's not to say that everyone's going to help you with the job, but that is how you would express your external pain. And all that really is coming down to is that external pain hurts others, internal pain hurts yourself. When you start to notice who has external pain and who has internal pain, then you give yourself power in order to understand the situation scenarios that you're in. Let's say in the same situation of work, you have someone who has external pain, who hurts others when they're hurt or when they're uncomfortable, and you have someone who has internal pain, who hurts themselves when they're hurt or uncomfortable, and they're in the same room together. How do you think that relationship, that dynamic is going to turn out? More often than not, the person with external pain is going to make the person that has internal pain inferior and worsen their internal pain because they don't know the pain that they have. And it's only to compensate and protect themselves from the pain that they already have. So you have two people trying to protect themselves from pain, but inflicted upon themselves in different ways. Now, how would you possibly get out of the pain that you're experiencing? Well, For internal pain, something that I am closely regarded to, you have to understand that when these thoughts come up, you have to separate the situation, the experience from yourself. Because a lot of the times we tend to just assume things, make assumptions, or put a lens over our experience and say, this is my reality, or this is the reality, when in the other case, it probably isn't. A great example would be I'm at work and you decide to tell someone, hey, I need to do this. They respond negatively in your perspective, negatively. And how do you take it? You take it, oh man, I must be a bad person. Oh, they must not like me. Oh, I wonder if I did something wrong. And then you start overthinking and reworking your brain to create a reality that may have never been the case. And then you only hurt yourself because what if, because of those thoughts, you decide to stay distant from this person, or you decide to start acting differently, or you're less happy, or you become depressed, or you allow your emotions to take a hold of you and make a decision that you shouldn't be making. And that's all regarding into your internal, your subconscious brain. But with external pain, if someone is doing that same thing, same situation, you talk to a person, they give you a bad impression or a bad experience to where you intake it as, oh, they must not like me or something like that. Well, you know what? I'm going to hurt them. I'm going to make my pain their pain. I'm going to show them they hurt me. And that would just lead to maybe making passive aggressive comments or even trying to belittle someone or showing them that you're angry or that you're hurt. By an example would be by jokingly being mean. And then what can you say? Well, I was joking. But that's not really the case. All jokes have some form of truth. And the truth is, it is external pain. In order to overcome the external pain, you must again relook at the situation and experience and judge it for its truthful state, its reality, and not create a reality around itself. And that would be to stop and talk to the person. Because I think it has to do with you being extroverted or introverted as well. You know, our minds and processes, the way we think, it has to do with that. So if you were to, again, communicate to the person, hey, I don't know how this situation is going. I don't know how this relationship is going. I didn't appreciate that, or this is how I see the situation that we just had. Is this how it is? Is this true? Is this how it's going to be? Am I seeing something wrong? Did I take a misstep in my thoughts or judgment? And the only reason that people experience the internal or external pain is from our childhood, is from our younger experiences in life. And that is no fault to you. I sympathize with both external and internal pain. Both people struggle with the same pain but express it differently. And in order for you to overcome any type of pain, any type of trauma that you've experienced, you must first look at the behaviors that you're doing now. If you notice the type of pain you're noticing is experience is external or internal, and that will help you understand your mindset a little bit more so that you can start processing on your road, on the way that you process things. So let's say from childhood, again, let's go back to parents. You had not the best of parents. They didn't love you so much. So what do? Well, you're going to be closed off in the future when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships. Love is any relationship, any connection that you have with another person, with another being. And it could even be inanimate object because we do love things. But it's in the way that we express love that is defined from our childhood and defined from our previous experiences. So once you find out that you have external or internal pain, you then have two paths ahead of you. For internal pain, it is a little bit easier because you already have the skill of overthinking. And that's something that I really love about myself is because I did or I do have the skill of overthinking. And it takes not discipline, but it takes a certain amount of discipline I can't find the word. It takes a certain amount of niche in order for you to, what, not condition. Oh man. To train your skill, to start training, to start improving it, to start using it in a conscious manner instead of subconsciously. Subconscious would be like the thoughts that you have, which would be, oh, I'm no good, this is bad, no one likes me, I'm the worst, stuff like that. Things that are negative affirmations. Now, you could use that same overthinking to fully think out a process and use that reality or use that experience like, okay, I think this person hates me. I overthought it. I thought about every reason why they could hate me, why they hate me. Now think about it the exact opposite way. Think about every reason in that situation and why they might like you, or why they love you, or why the situation is the exact opposite. It's always good to make a pros and cons for the exact same situation, because when it comes to overthinking, the only reason that we overthink is because we don't have all the information that is available to us, such as the other person's perspective. What if they're having a bad day? What if someone just passed away in their life? What if they woke up and because they wake up, they're very irritated and groggy? It's always coming down to information. Now, when it comes to external pain, it's a vastly different, I would say. I wouldn't say vastly, I just use the word. It's very different because if we're hurt or if we're feeling something like that, like we are in groggy in the morning or we are in a bad mood in the morning. So what do? We take it out on others because no one told us to experience it from a different light, which would be to be able to control our mouth, the way we speak, how we speak to others, our emotions, and the way we think about things. So just off the top of my head, I'm thinking for external pain, you should be looking at how you feel first. First, examine how you feel and remember that because you're doing external pain, you must notice your emotions because your emotions are tied to your decisions and the way you speak. And I would say to redefine or at least hold back your words because unfortunately, time is a forever thing, and 5 seconds ago will always be 5 seconds ago. So if you say something negatively that could impact somebody else in a negative way, then that is your responsibility. It's not your responsibility for how they perceive how you speak, what you say, how they might perceive how you feel, but it is your responsibility to be able to reciprocate and proactively communicate your emotions and your communication skills, your vocabulary, in a proper way. Because what you say hurts people and what you feel affects people, whether you say it or not. People can sense it, people can feel it, people can see it. If someone is like, oh, if you're in a bad mood, people are gonna know you're in a bad mood whether you say anything or not. It's like an energy. It's a thing that people can sense. Like, ooh, he's not having a good day today, or he seems very serious today. I'm not gonna talk to this person. And it all comes down to you how you express yourself and the words that you say. Just because you're hurt doesn't mean that you should be hurting other people. And I know it's hard to do because it might just be a reflex because of how you hang around with your friends or how your family dynamics were in the past. But it's up to you to decide when and how you redefine yourself and your behaviors and your thoughts. Just a little tidbit. I hope that this video got something out of it. You got something out of it. If you would like, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the comments down below. My name is Augustin, and this is Just Before Clarity.